Peace be on all of you. Mr. Kupansky was born in Poland in Silesia. He was active in the Polish Communist Party and he joined the army, and he was jailed for the first time on his refusal to go to Czechoslovakia to crush the Prague Spring movement. He later studied history and philosophy and became a professor at the Silesian University. He was jailed for the second time for his support of the Solidarity movement and his opposition to the Russian invasion of Afghanistan and the suppression of Bosnian rights in Yugoslavia. In 1983, Mr. Kupansky was offered political asylum in the US, and he has been living in Arlington, Texas since then. Earlier in 1975, he had accepted Islam in Turkey and was married in Syria to a Muslim woman from Palestine. He is co-editor of The Message International, which is the premier Islamic revolutionary magazine in the US, and he has written extensively on the Christian sects in the US and also on Islam and Muslims in the Eastern Europe, which is his topic of discussion today. Before I invite him, I also want to announce that tonight we have a lecture by Philip Boehm on Iron Curtain Calls, and it's on problems facing theaters in Eastern Europe. We take a break tomorrow afternoon, so we don't have a noon lecture tomorrow, but tomorrow night Paul Sweezy will be here for his lecture on the future of capitalism. So without further ado, please welcome Ataullah Bogdan Kupansky.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, respect Muslims and non-Muslims. I should to speak about Islam and Muslims of Central Europe. But in the beginning, before I will sketchy analyze the situation, what happened behind former Iron Curtain, let me start from about so-called, I call it innocent lack of cultural or religious sensitivity. Example. I am very fundamentalist according the criteria, standardized criteria of Newsweek and Time magazine, so I'm very fundamentalist Muslim. However, I prefer call myself Orthodox Sunni Muslim. Orthodox. It means very strict observant. My wife is full veiled in Texas and completely, and she prefers stay home, nurse kids, and read Islamic literature and help me when I write something else. So 3 days ago, we hadn't special problems as a Muslims in the United States, except kind of small ignorance. But 3 days ago in Kroger store, one Texan asked my wife, "Oh, you have very nice Halloween dress." My wife told him, "It is not Halloween dress, it's completely veil of woman called burqa. And it's symbol of my religious right, dignity, and I enjoy in America right to be veiled." "I'm sorry, lady," he said to her. He was very innocent. He didn't make a stupid joke or two. No, it was innocent. It was kind of, he always see that everybody who is veiled, it's like from Hollywood movie, it means that he want attack band or it's Halloween. No, so I should to feel kind of grievance. I am persecuted in Texas. No, they are very, very warm people. But I also commit sin of lack of sensitivity last year in India when I visited my sheikh, my great spiritual leader in North India. I was in shop, in bazaar, and I asked one shop owner, "I want cobra skin-made handbag for my wife." And I asked him, "Do you have a skin of cobra?" So because I want And this gentleman, the owner, said, no, I haven't. You cannot find it. And he was even a little bit angry. Later, my Muslim friend and guide told me, you commit terrible, you misbehaved. He is Jainist. For him, Cobra is a god. You told him about that his god should be the handbag of your wife. So cultures, civilization usually meet each other in painful way. Don't forget when Captain Cook visited the Tonga Islands over there, and the powerful British stiff in uniforms, they on beach stay, and all the natives and kings, everybody sit down. The British were insulted why they sit. They were insulted why they stay. And it was the exchange of arrows and cannons. British cannons were stronger. So cultures meet in painful way. So we should not exaggerate problem of pain in human history. I don't want to express my lament that in Eastern Europe we suffer in prisons, and there were a lot of tragic moments and comical moments in prison. I also enjoy to be, because in prison two Polish workers accept Islam, so it was great time for me. Anyway, but there is problem of crisis of identity. That's beautiful. Before I studied the beautiful piece of wood, identity. It's a very strange piece of art. It's like hidden corner. Everybody has his corner in his zawiya in Arabic we call it zawiya. Corner in our soul, in our nafs. I will use a lot of Arabic terminology during my speech to make you familiar with our terminology, because you usually read about Islam, usually English translated words, some of them misguided. Arabic is lingua franca of Islamic civilization. Like Latin, I am old-fashioned educated historian, so I know also Latin. But Arabic is for me much more richer language than the beauty of Latin. So, nafs, or the soul of not only individual but civilization. So now, because I have a problem in America with freedom of expression, not because I have a problem of time. Americans, you want everything very fast and short. Fast food, fast war in Middle East, and go home and celebrate Christmas. No way, Jose, like in Texas. No. Everything is longer. There's long periods in history work. Fernand Braudel, long period of history. So every change takes time. Don't push us in Eastern Europe to make faster Jeffersonian democracy, because maybe you will discover that we don't want Jeffersonian democracy. Like Afghan Mujahideen, I was among them 3 years ago. They did not spill blood of thousands own martyrs to make, for instance, in Kabul, conservative and Republicans and Democrats. No, don't misguide yourself. Free choice. Leave us alone. Now speak. Liberal inquisition. Self-imposed writers who play soul of Western civilization and cry that there is lack of freedom for such and such and such and such. We can get what we want. We are not childish civilization. Islamic civilization is a great, powerful factor of history of mankind. We have a long history of collapse, fall, rise, and then to. In Islamic methodology, we call it time of ghafla, and tajdid. Ghafla is a time of deterioration, time of collapse, time of absorption of alien ideologies, isms, nationalism, liberalism, fundamentalism, ism. So I'm not Islamist, I am a Muslim. Not Muslim, I'm a Muslim. If you will call me Muslim, I will call you Christian, not Christian, or other. We have also rich language of names. So Muslim sounds very good. Muslims, because I told you in Arabic, my brother in faith from Egypt can correct me, because Muslim, it sounds like mazalim, zulm. Zalim, it means injustice. So you all almost call us that we are people of injustice. And injustice is the corner point of Islamic faith. So we are sometimes oversensitive on problem of justice, even on problem of name. However, we use the name fundamentalism. Don't worry, we are not. We have rhinoceros skin in Europe just now. Anyway, so you usually hear about Sharansky, Anatoly Sharansky, Nathan Sharansky. He returned to his belief of his ancestors. You know name of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, great. I admire him. He changed my mind during my student time. However, I disagree with him. He is Pan-Slavic. He is Russian jingoist. But he is helpful in our cause. He don't want empire. He wants Russia. Matushka Rossiya, Mother Russia. He said that we Russians, we suffer a lot. And the Western ideology called Marxism-Leninism. Because Marx was not Russian. He was a German. Former Western Germany. It was this part of the Western Germany. So I don't want to use the demagogy, but Solzhenitsyn, you know the big names, but you don't know our Solzhenitsyns, our Muslim Solzhenitsyns. You don't know our Sharanskys. I should not be here, and I should not make the speech about Muslims and Islam in Eastern Europe, but 3 persons. Melika Selih Begovic, wonderful lady, fundamentalist lady, veiled in Yugoslavia, in former Yugoslavia. She is Bosnian. I will also give you new names of resurrect nations, micronations, tribal, and everything. I'm not Poles, I'm Silesian, but I speak better Polish than Silesian, because Poles Polonized me, brainwashed me in high schools. They call me, I'm part of Poland, and Silesian language doesn't exist, it's dialect, or ugly lingo, honk-tonk of southern Poland. No, I am Silesian by tribe, Slav. But Germans call us Volksdeutsch. Part of my family, today declare themselves Germans because opportunists, and they went to Germany because there's better jobs. And other part, in previous generation, died for Poland in concentration camps or in Russian Gulag. Государственный лагерь, Gulag, state camp, or special state inside Siberia. So, and in this state, the special state, inside state in Russia, there were a lot of political prisoners and religious prisoners. You usually hear about Jews and Pentecostals, because it is nothing unusual. There were a lot of Jews and a lot of Pentecostals in prisons. And they suffer. And Pentecostals in United States, powerful, rich, they support own case and own brothers and sisters in faith. And similarly with Jews. We also, but our voice was rather diminished here by mass media. Sometimes spitefully, sometimes not, sometimes by ignorance or lack of information. We are not too open people. We are a close-knit society, Muslims. So, if somebody speak about Muslim minority in Eastern Europe, in my opinion, he commit great mistake. Islam for me is kind of new identity. However, I will never say that I accept new religion. I return to the oldest one, usually I say. But today thousands Europeans accept Islam. Intellectual, other workers, and you have wonderful friends in Germany. And former Cat Steven today used to be Islam. He's not only my brother in faith, but personal friend. And we share a lot of common experience. We have double identity. We are Europeans and we are Muslims. We are to be Muslims in Western culture, or Westernized Eastern Europe, or re-Westernized Eastern Europe, is an act of strife. It's an act of struggle. It's not too easy to be, but we are not minorities. We are not something like minority, because in Islam, Muslims, we are one nation. Quran say we are one nation. Ummah wahid, we call it Ummah wahid. The beautiful word Ummah. Is mother. Usually my wife is Khalid, mother of Khalid, because my son has name Khalid, Khalid. Ummah, you see the feminists should to be happy, they will use the Ummah wahid. So you are one nation. So I will be not spiteful, I will tell you that for me is closer Malay Muslims from Malay to Kuala Lumpur. I share common experience and feeling with him than with my Silesian Christians, my uncle and then even aunt. Why? Because I am a Muslim, so I am with him. So pain of Muslims in, for instance, such painful experience like pogrom of Muslims in Al-Aqsa Mosque for us is the tremor among Muslims in former Yugoslavia also. We share the same pain. We share the same joy of victory in Afghanistan, or victory of our Muslim democratic elected party in Algeria, landslide victory, and I don't like it, or in Pakistan, or into. We are very well prepared. I tell you, the next decade, I'm not talking about Islam. You listen voice of Muslim. I echo the feeling of Ummah. I travel a lot just now. I was in Mecca, I was in Pakistan, I was in Kashmir last year and too. So it's the same feeling. We do not scare democracy. We used it. Of course, there is possibility of abuse. In democracy, Jeffersonian democracy is abused. Sometime in Texas, in Louisiana, and in North Carolina, and so. But I will give you also taste of our feeling. How do you feel if I will? Because all we're here in Eastern Europe, just now turmoil, painful transformation, transition, violence, ethnic violence, permanent ethnic violence. Let me tell you something, dear Americans. I lived 7 years in America. I was in Beirut, I was in Afghanistan, I was in Iraq. But this is most violent society in modern history. Every weekend die more people in Metroplex area, Dallas, Fort Worth, than today in Beirut. That is open, because freedom of expression open, I never met in other. I even like it, because over here, Americans are not hypocritical. If they hate openly. They shouting, kill, nuke them. Sorry for ladies, but I read beautiful bummer stickers of local rednecks in Texas who say, nuke their ass, take their gas. Patriot, all glory. One Arab had other bummer stickers. I don't, because it's very, very also ugly against this kind of people with exploration of natural gas of America. Kick they ass and explore your own natural gas. And do so we can insult each other or in jokes. But I'm not special about the Polacks jokes, Irish jokes, Jewish jokes. That is America. Everything is openly expressed. And it's good. There is a lot of hypocrisy. Nifaq, we say in Arabic. Nifaq is a great sin. Nifaq, hypocrisy, inside so-called Muslim world. There's a lot of zulm, injustice, tyranny, taghut. And we fight it. In democratic way or in way of Minutemen. So you see that your American Revolution was built on what? peace Gandhi-style transformation of Indian society, Comanche, Iowa, to what? No. You kidnap millions African Americans. You kidnap them, you sell them, mother, child, separate. It was the most cruel form of slavery in this country. Not like Arab slavery of ancient Roman slavery. It was the worst slavery. Industrial slavery, cotton slavery. Mother, father, white father who lived with white magnolia, raped his black slave, female slave, and later he sold own children on local market in Georgia. So be aware, don't preach what is good, what is bad. I'm speaking sorry, I'm naturalized American. I enjoy the land, I like the land. But be aware with critics or the lament that behind Iron Curtain, look, they again cannot organize everything. Chaos is a permanent state of politics. What you say, oh, today Serbs and Serbians, Orthodox, Eastern Orthodox Serbians almost wade with knives. Probably will be civil war between Slavs, between Horvatske, you say Croatians, and Serbs. Religion is abused between them. Roman Catholic, former Ustashi, and former Chetniks, Serbs. And between them we, unfortunately, Bosnian Muslims. And they wait to each other. They wait only the proper time to jump to own throat. And we blood. But in the beautiful Albion, the center, Magna Carta Libertatum, England, British Empire, libertarianism. You have not ethnic conflict between Irish and British? It's every day bombs exploded in Dublin. In a very professional way. Not like those amateurs in Kazakhstan or in other places. So that is the question that I cannot separate problem of Muslim of Eastern Europe and problem of general situation around the world. There is crisis in Russia. Fortunately, the empire collapsed. But there is other problems of crisis over here. There is not a great deficit. There is not everything is good. 36 million are poor, terrible poor. I was in Arkansas. I was stunned by poverty in Arkansas state. So that is if I will only give you example that we can hurt feeling of patriots who want to teach us Jeffersonian democracy. Maybe we want democracy in Eastern Europe, and Muslims want also democracy, and we use it. But democracy, demos, kratos. We the people, not we the politicians, we lobby, we special interest group, we Chevron, we KGB, we CIA imposed king. Usually, like my Afghan friend Joe speaks. So, you accused us that we are backward, old-fashioned, we keep women in the back seat, veiled, and we always are wrong. You are a nice guy. Huh? But after 10 years of war in Afghanistan, you proposed for us old king. So for yourself, democracy. For us, kings. Or, I know George Bush say, legitimate ruler return. No. In China, we fight for democracy. In other countries of Muslims, we fight for legitimate ruler. Huh? Sounds good for us, ruler. Take kings free. We prefer democracy. We can win in democracy. And when we lost our case in democracy, next 4 years we will try better, show better. There's a lot of Islamic parties today. Movements, groups, radicals, frustrate people, and also very wise people who preserve Islamic tradition in very polite and Islamic way. I believe that I represent this kind of orthodoxy. We needn't too big noise and to make saura, it means uprising and everything, because however, we believe that history and also Islam is strong by martyrs martyrs create symbols. Shahid, we say Shahid. But tyrants also go to dust can of history. But we should not spill blood without necessity. So I do not encourage many our brothers in Eastern Europe just now. We wait. I also advise, Newsweek is not my favorite newspaper. It is the most anti-Islamic biased mass media in this country, always about fundamentalism and good Salman Rushdie. But in this Newsweek is a good article and read about suddenly strange things inside Russia, not in Muslim Central Asia, but inside Russia. There is demonstration. Прочь руки от свободного Татарстана. Hand off from sovereign Tatarstan. Inside Russia, in Boris Yeltsin Russia. People create sovereignty. Tatarstan and Bashkiria. You see green flags of Islam with Christians. You see even local, the so-called moderate imams created by, we call them red mullahs. They were bureaucrats, chinovniks, Gogol's chinovniks, like Christians, like some Jews. There were some who had ordered to like wedding, funeral, and be obedient servant of Russian state. Just now everything collapsed. So inside Russia is creation of Islamic Muslim small republic, Tatarstan, Bashkiria. Imam was shocked when over here is writing the young generation shouting Allahu Akbar. God is the great. The fanatical. We were fanatical in Hollywood. We shouting the nice King George and shouting Allahu Akbar. And ready to kill the innocent blonde virgins of Albions. And so not like that. It shows something. There is first tremor. The next 10 years, Islam will be very important factor of development, not only in Western Asia, called by Eurocentric Middle East. In India, my Muslim friends usually call it Western Asia, and they have right. Why is Middle East? To whom Middle East? So Western Asia. Europe, it's peninsula of big Asia. The western part of it is very small. So I am Euro-Asian. The big continent. So Islam and Muslim will play a very visible role in the next 10 years. We say 50s, it was very bad time. 40s, 30s, it was collapse. It was the ghafla. Islam completely collapsed under the weight of non-Islamic colonial power, Algeria, dismembered Turkey, and anything. 50s, it was kind of hidden like lava under the Cold War surface. 60s, it was seeds, Islamic movement, martyrs, killing, political prisoners in Egypt, in Turkey, and fundamentalist, fanatical mullahs in prison, behind bars. They were protected. 70s, West open for our dissidents and to create new network of information and everything, political asylum. Fastest growing religion according to U.S. New Report in America is Islam. In Western Europe the same. Invasion of Muslims in France. Some people are scared. Bernard Lewis wrote book Muslim Rage. Muslim Rage. We are also in rage state of it. No. We are very also silently also work. And we cooperate. When I went to Mecca, to our holiest place, what is the part of my belief that every Muslim should to visit during his lifetime, Mecca, at least dream about it, like the Russian Muslims in Russia who had no money, or in 10 years ago it was, he will go to if he want visit to Arabia, he will go to jail, to Lubyanki prison in Moscow. So we were deprived of it. But in Mecca, after our holy rituals, our beautiful expression of our faith, we meet each other. I suddenly discover in Mecca that 2 million people from every corner of the world. I met Scottish Muslims, New Zealanders, thousands Egyptians, Indonesians, Kashmiri, Afghans, Yugoslavians, so and so, even Eskimo. I met Muslim Eskimo who accept Islam in Denmark, in Copenhagen, because Greenland is this colony still colony, protectorate of Denmark. It's this colonial part, small Denmark. Nobody is very, very liberal state, but they have big colony, the bigger island. So there are Eskimo who accept Islam because they were Turkish sweeper on streets, and they were very nice people. And they preached to them Islam, and the Eskimo accepted. A student of anthropology, and I met him in Mecca. And I met. We have tears in eyes. We didn't understand each other, our language, but I met not Chinese Muslims, but Uyghurs Muslims near Mongolia. And we stayed near Kaaba, and we were very happy. He and me. I was first Silesian in Mecca in history of Poland. I'm proud of it. But as an American citizen on American passport. Irony of the helpful West. So West is not only for us, we are not anti-Western. It's a myth abused by yellow journalism, anti-Western Islam. Our radicals, early fanaticals, crazy, who abused Islam to political power struggles in Lebanon or in other places, or this man, this butcher from Baghdad. And so they also... use there is Western kind of invasion. The West is danger for Islam. It's not true. I don't want now dig too much in heritage of European history to show you, because you know it, that Islam shaped culture of Europe. Without the contribution of Islamic science of Spain, Sicily, and southern and to Muslims of Europe, today is 18 million. There are 18 million Muslims in Europe. 8 million are Muslims, immigrants who peacefully settled down. We can call them pioneers or settlers in France, in England, from Gujarat. Yesterday it was London in Delhi. Today is Delhi in London. You see the price of colonialism? It's implosion. Today is the opposite. So it's nice. It's nice. And Eastern Europe, or Southern Europe, Balkans Mountains, well, other 8 million people. Those people are desperate during the last 10 years, defend own faith, own identity. They were deprived. In 1950, in Yugoslavia, women had no right, ban veil. Ban, not say abolition. If you want, do that. If you don't want, it's your problem. You won't be, it's not for us problem. In Islam, there is no compulsion. Veil for our women is not symbol of oppression, but symbol of dignity and honor and piousness. We call it taqwa, haya, modesty, chastity. It's nothing else. If you don't want it, but today at thousands you see visible. Thousands Muslims, young educated ladies, return to veil. Not only in Cairo, not only in Jordan, or in Pakistan, or in Turkey. But you see very strange today picture. Is going elder mother, usually 50, 60. She is dressed like the 50, 60 style, Marilyn Monroe style, and veiled daughter, young generation, postmodernism of Muslim world. And before it was usually cliché, the favorite cliché. Old veiled Bedouin lady and her emancipated young Western educated daughter. No more anymore. No more. This kind of you can read about Islam in different books. You don't know this writer from Muslim writer from former Yugoslavia, Bosnian Muslim. There is Bosnia today, Bosnia and Herzegovina, not anymore Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is the I call it small, petty Soviet Union of Balkans. But this Musa Selimovic, in my opinion, he is better than Günter Grass. But we don't know him. Why? Because nobody translates for you this book. For you, it's news. Newsmakers make news about you about wedding of Bhutto and Abu Nidal next massacre and senseless terror. That is the picture, the detail. But this great man, Musa Salman, wrote a beautiful book, Dervish Smith, Dervish and Death. Beautiful psychological, it's not only about Muslims, it's universal, historical, about European lost soul. You need to read that book. Muslim writer, formerly was Washington. Last 10 years, we in Soviet Union spread our missionary Islamic books. For possession of this kind of book successfully in the Soviet Union 10 years ago, it was 10 years of prison. And to this kind of small book, possession, it means anti-state propaganda by feudal pierzitki, remnants of feudal society. We are feudal mind. So this kind of books, you know how it penetrates Soviet Union? Not through the Poland, not through the Mike channels, no, through the Afghanistan, through the border, through the Russian soldiers. 300 Russian soldiers accept Islam in Afghanistan. And we told them, be quiet, don't be clashy with Islam. Today, Quran in Tashkent Bazaar or in Kazan, today Tatars celebrate the terrible day of 1552 when Ivan the Terrible massacred Kazan and built the beautiful Cherkov, beautiful church, the Orthodox Church. Over Kremlin, the word Old Kremlin is the Tatar word. It was small fortress. So Kazan was demolished. Today, later it was Communist Party headquarters, and today is again our democratic movement for Islam in Tatarstan. So, history. You can read trash like that, written by liberal inquisition from the Observer from England. What is Islam? It's nonsense. It's such idiocy, I tell you, idiocy you can read. I will give you example. All Muslims must always keep their head covered by cap. This is a sign of respect for Allah's angels who are thought to reside in the skulls of men and women. I wear cap. I am Hanafi, so when I pray, I put cap. I always dress in Texas, sometimes I dress Afghan dress, kameez, and turbans, and I'm proud of it. Over here, written the turban it is impossible to pray with turban. You don't know how we pray. Journal. He wrote that our Muslim women dress cap under the veil. What kind of cap? I don't know. But there's other beautiful books, Women in Islamic Law, written by my friend. I never talked to her personally because she is behind Parda from India, but she's my friend and my wife friend, Satya Iqbal, doctor of sociology. She calls her a cultural refugee from America, so she lives just now in India, is native. She's completely veiled, and she wrote a beautiful book, sociological research about crisis of middle-class American women in post-feminist era, in George Bush time. So we should not divide ourselves. I want what? I want symbolically during this speech demolish Poles and Silesian, and a very chaotic situation, like borders between Mexico and Texas and California. So all world is in transition, not only in Eastern Europe. American Jeffersonian democracy need also perestroika and glasnost, openness. And as usually, I have a lot of interesting paper note marks, and I talk totally on different subjects. But let me return to couples really professional political panorama now in former Yugoslavia. So I will give you certain events. To the last months were in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina has Muslim majority. It's the republic. Yugoslavia is created by so-called republics. Slovenia, most westernized, most Austrian style, ruled north part of Slavdom, Slovenia. Very democratic, very pro-Western, very Western. Well, I don't know why the Western democracy. Democracy, not the Western democracy. Democracy. And there is chauvinistic Serbia. No, I express kind of bias against chauvinistic. Why they are chauvinistic? Why not? Because over there is new demagogue, very powerful, charismatic leader, Milovan, Slobodan, Slobo, they call it. Slobodan means man of liberty in Slavic. Slobodan. And he is communist. He is Serbian communist. Aparatchik. And he today, and he used nationalist slogan to keep communists in power. I always suspect, inside Poland, in Russia, when I was in Moscow, that in my opinion, the best protecting nationalism jingoism of Eastern European nations or micronations were protected by Communist Party. Communist Party makes the nationalism very well preserved. Polish communists emphasize Polish nationalism, Polish roots, anti-German, anti-Czech, when it was invasion of Czechoslovakia, it was almost euphorian anti-Czech hysteria. Openly, Poles hate Czechs. There's no problem that Wallenstein and Havel had something to each other. No, it's a stupid hate. Historical, I don't want to dig in history. Why? Because Poles invaded twice Czechoslovakia. First time before World War II, Joseph Piłsudski, our new created state, independent state, after World War I, immediately attacked because borders everybody was crazy about border, about national homeland, and attacked small part of Chechen Silesia, and make it Polish part. Czechs always created, Chechen belonged to Czechs. So Czechs, and second 1968, when I was in prison for this case. We in army, we didn't want to do that. We were idealistic officers like the West Point romantic who believe that they want to defend American way of life. We believe that we are officers of border guards. We should defend our country against imperialism, Western decadency, and so, not against Czechs' brother. And we attacked Czechs in ugly way. I will never forget the moment. My young Marxism was crushed by Polish tanks. And it was against Czechs. Why? Again. But Czechs today, there are two nations, there are Czechs and Slovaks. And there are more. There is new small nation, Moravians. Moravian. So you see, of course, there is disintegration. But it's positive disintegration. Polish psychologist Dąbrowski used the term positive disintegration. He talked about individual, the positive when people, he said there's totalitarian personality, total everything, who escaped from freedom, Erich Fromm, and there is a kind of disintegrate weaker, wimpy mentality, full of doubts, full of problems, kind of permanent split in his decision, but man of morality. So he defends it. I think the positive disintegration of totalitarian empire is, for me, very positive change. However, coming old demons return. This means the micronationalism or mini micronationalism. You see almost comedy in Moldavia, New Moldavia. They declare sovereignty. We are not anymore part of Soviet Union. We are Moldavia. In the same time, inside the Moldavians, nationalists who fought Russians just now fought other small Gaguz, Turkish minority, who create, for me, nonsense. Create not a tribal entity called the Dniestr Republic of Gaguz. Gaguz are a very strange minority. Gaguz are Turkish tribe who were converted to Christianity before time of Islamization of Turks by Berke Khan in 13th century. So they were Christians, Turkish minority, and they were expelled from the Kazan and Crimean Khanate to the Moldavia, what was Christian kingdom of Moldavia. When later the Tepes IV, for infamous Dracula,